Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the StarCraft 2 World Championship Series Europe Challenger Edition. I'm Nathanius, joined by Cole Taryn, and I'd like to briefly apologize to our European audience, as I have forgotten that you guys name things weirdly, and you don't have Cool Ranch. You have Cool American. Still better than nacho cheese.
Absolutely.
How are you enjoying that first match? We got to see more DTs, Blanc.
Yeah, more DTs. It was a fun time. You know, I love seeing absurd Protoss plays get turned out. Always like seeing Hero Marine do well. It was a good time. You know, Skillets, I think, proving, you know, showing some good initiative, right? But not quite enough there.
I'm always of the opinion that the underdog should do meme builds and weird strategies, because you're not going to beat Big Gabe head to head.
Absolutely not. Yeah, you know, it's a fool's endeavor to try and take him on in a macro game like that. This next one's going to be a very good one though. Ptitdrogo taking on DnS here in the PvP. DnS have been having very good results in PvP, as you can see on the bottom side of your screen there, guys. It's like 77% win rate, I believe, recently. You think that's going to be enough to carry him against Ptitdrogo here?
No.
Yeah.
No. I like Ptitdrogo a lot. Now, DnS is a really good player, and because Ptitdrogo, I think he's like, God, he's doing stuff other than playing StarCraft every single waking moment of his life, which of course means his passion is completely gone. And
right.
Honestly, that alone, I don't think being Grandmaster on the Europe server is enough anymore.
Yeah,
what kind of shape is he in? Is he in a good mood? Drogo's the kind of guy that if you put one too many, sugar or cream in his coffee, he's going to be miffed about it the whole afternoon.
Right.
And I'm just saying, I don't know if he takes it black. That's the only way to maintain that balance. It makes it easy. Exactly. But then you got to worry about how well the roast is done. And
exactly. You know, how long it was poured for, if it sat too long. I mean, so many things go into this, into his preparation.
Yeah, he's got one of those coffee bean grinders that go from 1 to 40 on how fine it is. So if he got like a 20 instead of a 24, then maybe it's a little bit too loose and the flavor doesn't really have that quite punch that he wants. And then maybe he just loses the match 0-2 because he's just not in the zone.
Yeah, and then just one, you hate to see it.
You hate to see it.
I hate to see it.
I can't do my commentary unless I have a specific coffee every morning, and that's why I'm always 6 minutes late, Rosa. I love you. Yeah,
and that's not a joke. He comes in with the same coffee
exactly
every morning.
6 minutes late every day, and it's worth it. Because how else could I say so many dumb things on the internet without it? We're loading into New Repugnancy to kick off this PvP. It's good times, though.
Yeah.
You seem to be handling yourself with getting up early. Right?
Yeah, so far.
That's the fun part of these shows.
Yeah, so far so good. Waking up on time and such. As so did this guy up in the top right-hand side, spawning in the red on New Repugnancy. It is DnS. Adrian Boet? Oh,
he's French, so it's like Adrian. It's probably Adrian Bui. Probably Bui. Boat or something. Some weird French way of saying boat. In the bottom left, his opponent, the blue Protoss player. He is Ptitdrogo. It's a French-on-French battle. It's kind of like that final fight on episode 3 over the lava, except the lava is like garlic dipping sauce, and they have baguettes instead of lightsabers.
Baguettes, just crumbs flying everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like big, I guess croissants would be instead
like
of
the platforms
rocks,
that they're floating on, that they're standing on. Yes,
exactly. Yeah.
Oh, so good.
Like a little like tomato marinade, something. I don't know. Do French eat tomatoes? I'm not sure.
Yeah, like roasted tomatoes. I'm sure they do.
I think Italy owns the rights to tomatoes in Europe. I'm not sure.
Don't want to infringe on their copyright there.
If it was Germany, it'd all be kebabs. But yeah, exactly. I'll try not to appropriate too much culture here. It is PvP, so there's going to be 2 gateways, going to be cybernetics cores. However, DnS going to put a cheeky pylon on the north side. His probe's moving away from it, so I don't know that means he wants to do anything. Drogo proxies.
I love it. Yeah. As you were saying, PvP kind of you can take any opener to a PvP 90% of games, and they will pretty much match up with every other PvP we see. But now we get to see something crazy coming up. I like it. Something weird.
Yeah. This is interesting because DnS puts the pylon on the north, but he doesn't keep the probe there. So he wants Drogo to scout him and think that he's proxying. Now, Drogo did proxy. He put the robo there, and his probe scout comes a little bit later. But now both players have done something to the effect of making the other player think that they've proxied. However, only one of them actually did. So does DnS fake himself out and think, well, hey, maybe he's doing the same thing that I'm doing, or hey, maybe he's actually proxying? And that's where these degrees of mind games really get in your head, because when it comes to playing Protoss in that situation, then the proxy oftentimes ends up hurting you because now your robo is stuck in the middle of the map. And he's going to find it immediately.
That's a huge spot. With the Stalkers already moving across the map as well, so they'll immediately be able to pressure that pylon. The Adepts still making their way over. You know, they'll do their best, but not really going to be doing too much here. Really just trying to buy time for that pylon to stay alive, get that Immortal out. So that'll give them a lot more staying power. The Shades go out as well.
And this Stalker taking a surprising amount of damage from that Adept.
All right, here comes...
He really wants the Immortal to finish, by the way, which is why he's stuck there with it. And you know what? For all the Adept's effort, the Immortal one-tap that Stalker, so congratulations to you, my dude. So he blocks the main ramp, and the Prism is coming in.
Yeah, this Adept will be able to escape as well, as DnS has a row facility of his own now. That Pylon of the North not ending up being too much right now, as Stalker's starting to trade at the front. That Immortal's barrier procced. Ton of damage output coming out from Drogo here, and the Shade gets through, so that's that high ground of vision, as well as being able to potentially commit to it if he wants.
Prism is coming out. That's one of those things that we don't talk about as much, but openings like this are going to be pretty heavily affected by that that patch on the 20th. With the Prism change, it's going to lose one of its range, and it's going to cost a little bit more.
Yeah, they're going to make it a little bit trickier to make these work, and definitely affect the staying power with that pickup range nerf, make it easier for the defender to kind of pressure the health bar of these Warp Prisms.
Yep. It's going to be 50 minerals more. You know what costs 50 minerals, Coltarian?
What costs 50 minerals, Nate?
A tech lab. Oh. It's a tech lab or a reactor, yeah. So Drogo will be able to get one less of those the next time he does this build.
And that'll add up.
It does. It does. I can't say that I can crunch the numbers on it, but he doesn't have his own Prism, so this Immortal gets
a huge
pinched.
force field.
Big money force field from Drogo and DnS. Is he on the ropes, Coltarian?
I think he is. He's losing the gateways. He's starting to now force fielding off the ramp, but the Warpins coming in on that low ground. He should be able to elevate her up here. There's not a lot left for DnS. Just that one Immortal. Now here comes the elevator coming up over that force field. The last gateway's about to get unpowered here for DnS as he desperately tries to hold on. Nice picks on those expensive sentries.
Yeah, he got the shield battery completely drained, and his Immortal doesn't have that much health. If Drogo can just right-click on that Immortal uno mas time, he will have it dead, but he's got the reinforcements from his own Prism, and as you mentioned, he lost his gateways, so he literally can't build units. GG, Drogo takes game number 1.
Yeah, in convincing fashion, too. Really well done with that proxy, abusing the lack of information that DnS had available to him, and then great pickup micro, and you know, DnS just not able to kill that Warp Prism, and I think that would have been, you know, not being able to unpower the Robo at the start, and then not being able to kill that Warp Prism.
And that force field, because he had 2 Immortals as well, and he gets that great force field pinch. He was ahead 1 Immortal, but it didn't matter because he was already, you know, he had the Prism, so that extra control was so valuable, and just using the 2 Adepts, he bought time because he wanted to kill the Pylon and prevent the Immortal from ever coming out. But a great job protecting his Pylon. But also in the same hand, the 2 Adepts got the 1 Stalker to within a 1-tap. So the Immortal pops out, instantly kills the Stalker, and every single unit in that phase of the game is invaluable.
Yeah, so important, and especially before that Immortal popped out, as you were saying. And yeah, really well done there by Drogo. And you know, now it's on DnS, like you said, you know, underdogs always like seeing them pull out the weirder builds. I'm curious to see what craziness he'll pull out here after a game like that.
Do you think if he had 50 less minerals, that attack just completely does nothing?
Absolutely. I think that one, those
falls
50
on its
minerals,
face.
yeah, just completely falls flat.
He wouldn't have been able to have that tech lab for his gateway.
Exactly, and like no stim for Zealots. I mean, what?
No, that's just the worst.
Would have fallen apart.
All those Zealots that Drogo had in the game. You're very right.
Right.
King's Cove for game number 2.
Yeah, it's DnS taking a second to compose himself here, get himself ready.
He asked for a BRB.
Yeah.
Said I was going for the fake proxy, but then you actually proxied me and I died. You know what might have helped kept the gateway running?
What might have helped it?
Yeah, maybe one of those pylons that he left out on the map.
You're exactly right.
Truth is out there.
If you care to find it, yeah, that pylon. Yeah, what is the point of that pylon? Is it just for warping in a couple units later on?
Here's a 300 IQ. The better defensive play would have been to build those 2 gateways at that pylon, because he wouldn't have lost them and he'd have more warp-ins to try and stop the attack.
You're right. That's the move.
I'm just saying.
If you're gonna proxy one pylon, you might as well proxy all of your production facilities there.
If someone's gonna kill your gateways, it's better to hide your gateways.
Yeah.
Because then they can't kill them.
He should have really just asked Ptitdrogo, like, are you planning on killing my gateways this game? And if yes, build them somewhere else.
Well, from one honorable Frenchman to another, I think it's against the law to lie there.
Exactly.
At least, you can lie to foreigners and tourists, just not each other.
Exactly. It's just the code of honor.
I've met Todd. He's the most honest person I've ever met, and I wish he wasn't.
Right, and that's what makes him so good at poker too, right? Just the honesty.
The honesty of asking why I got seated next to him.
Next game coming up, guys. King's Cove, Ptitdrogo taking on DnS, looking to close this out for Group B of WCS Challenger.
I cannot believe you're making me teach Nesenius how to play this game. I'm not a parent. And honestly, I'm glad for that, Todd, because I'm not sure you'd make a great one. I love you, but stick to video games. You're good at those. In the top left, we have the red Protoss player. Oh, sorry. Bottom right, we have the red Protoss player. I lost my sense of direction. He is DnS.
Facing off against this guy up in the top left-hand side, looking to close this out 2-0. He's Ptitdrogo. $89,000 in prize earnings. That's a chunk of change.
Yeah, not bad. Not bad at all. These the remaining players, the old meme that we had, the French connection, when Marine Lord, Lil Bao, and Stefano and all of them, and these guys, honestly, the French powerhouse, they were a big threat consideration for nation wars.
Yeah.
Speaking of, I believe both of these players are on the ballot for the French Nation Wars team. So if you like what you see, or perhaps you want to grief the enemy country, go vote for France.
Yes.
So that they have the players that you think are the worst. Give them a few extra votes. You can actually vote every single day for Nation Wars.
Yeah.
So if you want to vote for DnS every single day because you don't think he's the best French player, you could do that too. I'm sure he'd appreciate the spotlight.
Absolutely, yeah. Give him that good exposure. Put him on a nice national stage. It's nationwars.tv. If you guys want to go vote for that,
yeah,
you can vote for every country you want to vote for. So,
wow. I hope they do another supporter pack. The nation, when they did it, they had like the support pack. And for some of y'all, if you missed out on this, they had like you could get portraits for competing nations in StarCraft in game. That's you get that. I got that wonderful U.S. flag.
Yes, so good.
And there was also some sprays, and we've been talking about the spray meta. Katz has been asking me for all the secrets, all the hot details. And one of my favorite ones. There's a GG Easy for when you just you really want to harvest the salt, right? It's basically like the Luigi Ghost vacuum gun, but it's for salt of StarCraft players. And then you've also got Nuke here, which A, if your opponent's colorblind, you get a free win if you nuke that spot. B, your opponent's just mad because then they think they're going to get nuked the entire game. Drogo's going to proxy a Dark Shrine, by the way, so he's committing to the proxy once again. DnS this time, don't think he's going to find it.
Yeah, not going to find it. Is already going for the Robo, so potentially will have, obviously going to have access to that Observer if he so chooses. Curious, going to kind of come down to what that first unit's going to be. Should be able to squeeze out an Immortal before it's able to arrive. It's just going to be out of the timing here. As these Adepts do find that probe and reveal themselves here. So if you're DnS and you're going to scout the main base, see no tech once again, do you, how do you respond to this? Do you just go super defensive? Throw down a bunch of shield batteries and just wait? What's your read on this if you're in this situation?
Well, I mean, I'm not qualified to say anything on Protoss, or Reddit will have my head again, but the honest answer is I think you gotta get the Observer first, and that's what he's doing. And I totally didn't say that because I saw that he was building the Observer. He might have thought that he needed like Immortals because of what happened last game, in which case you don't really want the Observer. But since it is a Dark Shrine, getting the Observer out is really important. It's fortuitous that he went for the Robotics Facility as his default this game.
Yeah, it panned out well for him, not having to rely on, you know, landing an Oracle Revelation or having it not at home. And now the first 2 Dark Templar are getting warped in, but as we've said, that Observer's already out, so not really going to be a ton that it should be able to do here. I imagine just going to get transitioned into Archon.
Could still focus down a good few probes, but 1 DT is going to reveal itself, and that really hurts. So maybe it's better that it happened this way because the 1 DT had enough time to run away, and he's going to get a Prism. So the DT shenanigans, they're not over, not by any means.
Oh no, they have only just begun, as that were the natural expansions finishing up as well for both these guys. So we're going to get a little bit, going to stabilize a bit here. As there's a slight worker lead for the side of Drogo.
Yeah, I think this game will go past 5.5 minutes.
I think that's a safe bet. I think that's a safe bet.
Yep. The DT spots the hallucinated Phoenix coming in. Very good read.
And, ooh, Forge coming down from DnS. So, potential window for Drogo if he continues pumping out units, you know, while DnS is investing that money elsewhere. But I like it. I like it from DnS.
The Adepts. I'm not sure I'd like those.
Yeah, that was...
Like what just happened there. So he's going to try and drop DTs. And that's why you get the Forge, I think. A, +1 is good. B, a cannon in each base with like a shield battery is nice for stopping single DTs from at least killing everything.
Absolutely. And you know, and at worst buys you some time. This is huge though. The entire army and that Observer left the base as Dark Templar move in.
Yeah, this is really nice. So the DT is able to get in the workers there. He's got the Immortal on the high ground, and there is a lot here for DnS, but shield batteries are being added, and there's no units.
Oh, the Immortal trying to get involved now as it spawns in.
Goodbye, my friends.
7 workers going down, 35-21, that new count, as Drogo looks to hold on the front side of his base.
This is still going to be a bit of a tricky hold. Force
those shield batteries not quite done. That's 300 minerals invested in that as well. Second Immortal coming down the ramp.
Immortal stepped a little bit forward there.
Stepping forward to Tango a little bit as the Sentry's starting to take some hits. Moving forward, the force fields from Drogo bought himself quite a bit of time. That Adept still not able to participate in this fight as the Immortal gets targeted down. And down it goes. Ptitdrogo takes the game.
G to the E to the G to the E, baby. Well done.
G, what? What?
Drogo advances 2-0 to the winners match. Fantastic gameplay. He will face off against Big Gabe in the winners. And DnS. Yeah, DnS going to drop down and fight against Skillus, and he'll probably get wrecked by more DTs. He's gonna see more DTs. I hope you're ready for that.
Yeah, gonna need to keep that Observer on at home. You know, that's the stuff of Protoss nightmares right there.
Yeah. We did make it past 5.5 minutes, 6.5 minutes for that game too. So I'm just, you know, just very well done. That does it for our second best of 3 here today for WCS. This is Group B for bananas. Get your potassium in. It's important.
Very important.
There's not a lot of foods that naturally give humans potassium, unless, of course, you're a plant, in which case you don't really have to worry about that. Protoss are kind of like plants. So this group doesn't need too many bananas, but Hero Marine needs them. So that's going to be our next match in the bottom side. Skillus versus DnS. More PvP. They're going to throw a pool cube between the two of them. Only one of them gets to survive in this group. Who will it be? We'll find out after the break.